Hi guys. So this is our third lesson since we've been back in lockdown school, and this video is looking at a poem called Spellbound by Emily Bronte. Now, if anyone's interested in Emily Bronte, I really recommend you look up her kind of Wikipedia page and some of the books she's written. She's the lady that wrote Wuthering Heights. It's one of the greatest, most amazing um, romantic stories in the English language. It's like there's no other book really like it. It's really bizarre and different. But we're looking today at one of her poems. Right. So the objective today is obviously to read this poem, and then we're going to answer some questions about the poem just to show you understand it. So there's nothing too taxing, just I think 5 or 6 questions just to get a decent understanding of it. And then I think what I'm hoping will be the really interesting part of the lesson is the chance for you to write your own version of the poem, um, kind of copying her style, but transforming it into our current situation with COVID and lockdown, etc. So we'll get to that at the end of the video. We'll go through the poem first. So here's the poem. It's called Spellbound by Emily Bronte. The night is darkening round me. The wild winds coldly blow. But a tyrant spell has bound me, and I cannot go. The giant trees are bending, their bare boughs wade with snow, and the storm is fast descending, and yet I cannot go. Clouds beyond clouds above me, wastes beyond wastes below, but nothing drear can move me. I will not, cannot go. So hopefully that poem is kind of just being processed by your brains now. Got some images in there, because there's a story of what's happening to this narrator. Seems to be in a very difficult situation, a very negative situation, and it doesn't seem to be getting any better. In fact, it seems to be getting worse as the poem develops towards the end. So here are our questions. First one, number one. Describe the setting in the poem. So just look at the first 2 lines, and using those 2 lines, translate them into your own language, your own words. Describe what the setting of the poem is like. Number 2. What does the phrase suggest about the narrator's situation? So the phrase is tyrant spell. So what does that phrase suggest about the way the narrator feels about where they're currently at? Number 3. What does this adjective tell us about the narrator? That's the adjective is the word bound. So maybe you want to check in a dictionary, or do a search online. What does the word bound mean, and how does that adjective? It might have more than one meaning, but how does the writer mean for that word to be interpreted in this poem, and what does that tell us about the narrator's kind of situation? Number 4, back to the setting, but now how has the setting changed for the worst? For the worse, sorry. So you've got those next 3 lines in stanza 2. How have things got worse? Number 5, the 4th line in each stanza repeats the phrase "cannot go." Okay, I've highlighted those in blue for you so that it really stands out. What do you think the effect of this repetition is? So repetition, obviously repeating it, but what's the effect of repeating that phrase "cannot go"? Finally, in purple, number 6, what is surprising about the phrase in the final line? And the phrase I want you to look at is this phrase, "I will not." So I think there's something a little bit unexpected about those 3 words. So I'd like to know what you think about them. Okay, so those are the 6 questions. That's obviously meant to whiz through those quite quickly. They're not meant to be long answers. Just get down your answers quick. Pause the video here, and when you have finished your answers, those 6, press play and move on to the final part of the lesson, which I'm hoping will be the fun bit. Right, so here we are, writing your own spellbound poem. On the side of the screen in the yellow box, I've got the poem, so it's there for you to look at, and it's there so you can see it throughout this whole part of the lesson. But I'm now going to read through the instructions, or the idea that I want you to come up with. So at the moment, as you know, we are living We're all spellbound by COVID-19 and we're all stuck and unable to do the things that we want to do. With this in mind, I would like us to write our own spellbound poem called Virusbound. Now, you might want to come up with a better title than that, but I thought Virusbound would be okay. Kind of does the job that I'm looking for. But if you want to come up with a different title, you can do. Now, you could include your personal ideas about lockdown, the boredom, the stress, and the frustration of being stuck at home. So what I'm saying in that first option in the yellow option, as it were, is this virus bound can be very personal to you and your experiences and your thoughts and feelings about lockdown. A kind of autobiographical poem. Or you might want to go for the green option. So you might want to write about the point of view from a healthcare worker, someone who's struggling on helping people who are ill, working in a busy hospital, having to constantly be on the guard for the illness and the virus, constantly washing hands, wearing and changing face masks and gloves, etc. And that might be something that you want to explore, that idea of someone who's working really at the front line with the virus and people who are struggling with it. The third option in blue might be something that you could do either in a kind of comedy way or a bit of satire, which is a kind of a jokey, sarcastic way. Or maybe you might really empathise with Boris Johnson and think he's got a really difficult job at the moment to kind of get the country through this situation. So the third option is to write the virus-bound poem as if you're Boris Johnson, from his point of view, exploring how he's feeling and the decisions he's making in this very difficult situation. Regardless of which option you go for, and you might want to try more than one, but regardless of which option you go for, I want you to really try and stick to the pattern of Emily Bronte's poem. The whole point of this task is to try and create something that's like hers. So that means I want you to write in 4-line stanzas, and I want you to be writing 3 of those. That's 12 lines altogether in groups of 4. I want you to make sure that your stanzas have got the same rhyme pattern. So the A, B, A, B pattern. Okay. And wherever possible, I'd like you to try and follow the kind of line length. So the night is darkening round me is 8. The wild winds coldly blow is 6. But a tyrant spell has bound me. A tyrant spell has bound me, and I cannot go. So try and follow the same kind of line length. Make sure you got the same rhyme pattern. Make sure it's 12 lines long, and there are 3 stanzas of 4 lines each. Hopefully enjoy this. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you do with this task, and I can't wait to see what you do with it. So basically, have fun with it. Let me know if you've got any problems with what I should do. Otherwise, get started now. Okay, guys, take care, and I'll see you soon.